Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Thank you so much for being here. Hello to, let's see who was here first. Mary H., thank you very much for being here first. And anyway, I'll just get to everyone as I go along. Okay, there we go. So the Sussexes are going to New York. And then there is a bit of a royal conspiracy theory. Not that there's never been one of those before, but let's see what they're talking about, shall we? By the way, I don't think we'll be here more than an hour. It is National Daughters Day. Yes, National Daughters Day. So, yesterday, well, it's yesterday for me now, but yeah, Thursday was National Daughters Day, but it was Daughters Day when I was working on my slides. So, National Daughters Day. Aren't these beautiful? So beautiful. There you go, National Daughters Day. And I thought it would be great to add the fall colors. And there's Dad and Daughter, Daughter's Day. Mom and daughter, dad and daughter, Daughter's Day. National Daughters Day. I didn't know there was such a thing. Yeah, I found out about an hour ago. And of course, I always laugh when I see that hair because I think of what Meghan said, that she was trying to go for that Andy McDowell look, and it kind of turned into Krusty the Clown. Oh my God, that was funny. But yes, adorable. And a throwback image of mother-daughter. This is a famous Gordon Parks image, one that reminds us that even though segregation, especially in the Jim Crow South, even though there was segregation, you can see here there is a colored entrance. Yes, that means that they didn't expect for Black people to use the front door. But in spite of all of that, mother and daughter look as regal and as beautiful as anyone could be. In spite of all of the, shall we say, racial tension that was going on, the pride of mother and daughter to dress up, to go downtown to the high street, whatever you want to call it, that is something that during good times or bad times, that was a constant. And again, one of my favorite sets of mother-daughter, Meghan and Doria. Love this picture right here. What a glorious day. Let's see, talked to my daughter a few hours ago. She had a long run this morning and took such beautiful pictures of the wildflowers. Central Australia is beautiful. Wow, thanks for sharing that. Very nice. Okay. Well, we were at 62,999, but finally we reached that awesome figure of 63,000 subscribers. Yes, finally, 63,000 subscribers. There's been an influx of subscribers in the past 28 days, over 500. Don't ask me where they came from, but I'm glad they're here. So, nothing to do now but to celebrate, right? All right. 63,000 subscribers. Well, and that's just part of the story. There's more to the story than that. Like, for instance, let me see here. How many views has that been? Well, in all, let me see. There has been 45.3 million views, 45.3 million occasions that someone clicked on Royal Sussex. Or how about the 10.7 million watch hours? 10.7 million watch hours. And a whopping 63,000 subscribers. And of course, on the average day, there's approximately about, across all of the videos, I would say approximately about 12,000 individual viewers or whatever, individual views a day. So it adds up. It really, really adds up. However, there is no silver play button, that plaque that you see all the time. You don't get one of those because of the numbers. If it was because of the amount of views, I should have had one a long time ago. But they want you to have subscribers. So I wait. I wait. But in the meantime, I do appreciate each and every one of you for your contribution, whether you are just here to watch and enjoy, like, subscribe, share, or some of you that actually comment. And of course, those who have memberships, the super chats, the super stickers, and so on. Thank you so much for that. Also, there's the PayPal, the Cash App, the Venmo. I stopped using Patreon. And of course, there is the Buy Me a Coffee. I do not have the membership on Buy Me a Coffee. Membership is only on the YouTube, which is why I got rid of Patreon, is because it was too confusing. Some people did not like the fact that they didn't have access to the stickers and of course the what do you call it? The recognition that comes from having a YouTube membership. And yes, I know it is possible you could probably get a better share from the other memberships, but you don't get the recognition. And I'd rather make less and have you have the recognition that you deserve as opposed to making more. And then there's that confusion. Yeah, I had a few people that were just like, how come I? And I'm just like, well, wait a minute, you don't have the YouTube. So um, it's just easier for everyone involved. So, um, but either way, thank you for the support. Thank you, moderators, for always keeping this a safe space. And the other thing is the fact that people have shared some very interesting things about their lives, big and small things. All of it is appreciated because that sense of community is something that makes this all possible. It's that sense of community. And so again, I'd like to say thank you for that. And also a hand to you all for making Royal Sussex as incredibly successful. At one point, it was the fastest growing Sussex friendly space anywhere on YouTube. Okay, so shall we get on with it? Do you guys see the problem with this? Now, my nephew made this for me, right? And it's almost like, oh yeah, now I see it, right? Thank you, Heather Stroud. Well, the lion seems to have three paws. So I either needed to get rid of the ones at the top or the ones in the middle. So now that I think about it, maybe the ones in the middle should have stayed. But anyway, I had to make a choice, so I did that. See there? Instead of this, it's that. But now I'm thinking I should have kept the middle ones. Of course, this was generated by AI. And as you know, AI has issues with arms and legs. Well, the limbs and the fingers confuse AI. They just don't well, the AI just doesn't get the concept of it, right? So AI is getting better every day, but I don't know. Maybe I should have. I don't know. This is good. This is good. The only reason why I'm second guessing is because that claw. You see those claws sticking out at the top? Yeah. And well, anyway, that looks more natural than the middle ones, but I'm such a perfectionist sometimes. But I'm not gonna fuss. Either way, I think it's absolutely beautiful. And honestly, would you have noticed had I not said anything? Right? I don't think anybody really noticed it before. But anyway, thank you to my nephew for making this. I think it is so, so beautiful. So Royal Sussex. Yeah. I love it. Thank you, Zakoy Farms. Thank you, Janet Williams. Helen G, thank you. Oh, well, thanks for stopping by anyway. I appreciate it. Susan Maria Anaja, thank you so much for being here. Okay, let's get on with it. Well, tell them you said so. Thank you, Lydia Washington. Oh, okay. That one's, yeah, I think so. I kind of like that one. That one looks more like the lions are holding the heraldic shield in place. Yeah. I had to add the Royal Sussex at the bottom. It was I don't think it was blank. It had something else, but so I added Royal Sussex Channel. Okay, the World Mental Health Day is coming up in October. Meghan, Sussex, damn it, and Prince Harry's next New York City outing announced, and it comes with a big honor. As well it should. As well it should. Um, According to People magazine, it says the Duke and Duchess of Sussex will visit New York City as a set of mental health related for a set of mental health related engagements. Meghan and Harry are heading to the Big Apple to accept a special recognition for their mental health advocacy. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex will accept Project Healthy Minds Humanitarian of the Year award at the nonprofit Mental Health Day Gala on Thursday, the 9th of October in New York City. People's exclusively revealed. So People magazine looked like they got the story first. Harry and Meghan will receive the award for their work to make the online world a safer place for families and young people, in addition to their strides in advance mental well being globally. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex established the Archwell Foundation in 2020 on a mission to show up and do good, and launched the Parents Network, an initiative to support families impacted by the effects of online harm, at the Project Healthy Minds World Mental Health Day Festival in 2023. Yeah, that was 2023 when they introduced the Parents Network. Um, Wait, there it is. You probably remember this. In a statement, Harry and Meghan said, working with families and young people to prioritize safety online has been some of the most meaningful work of our lives. As parents ourselves, we have been moved to action by the power of their stories and are honored to support them. We're proud to be longtime partners of Project Healthy Minds as we work together to shine a light on what remains one of the most pressing issues of our time. World Mental Health Day Gala isn't the only stop on the New York schedule for the California couple, as Harry and Meghan will also attend Project Healthy Minds' fourth annual World Mental Health Day Festival on October the 10th. Wow, so they're going to be in the Big Apple for a couple of days. So gala one day and then the festival the next. Very, very cool. Let's see. The Lost Screen Memorial that the Archwell Foundation unveiled in New York in April will also be displayed at the festival. So if anyone's going, if you remember those screens that they set up in the park, which kind of look like large cell phones, they're going to have that display again. It's a temporary display, so they don't leave it out for a long period. The somber tribute honored children who lost their lives to the harm of social media, and Prince Harry and Meghan attended a private vigil at the site in the spring. Project Healthy Minds' upcoming World Mental Health Day Festival will also draw Deepak Chopra, Katie Couric. Oh my God, Katie Couric. Boardroom co-founder Rich Kleiman, author Jonathan Haidt, and parent expert Dr. Becky Kennedy, parent activist, and more. So, wow, that is going to be something to look forward to. Yes, yes. Um, well, there are some of you all that are in the Big Apple or nearby who will be able to attend this. I hope you do go and share lots of images for us. So these are just a few of the images from People magazine. It's going to be very special. I cannot wait. Very, very special. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Oh, well, I can imagine some people are going to get their noses out of joint again, but c'est la vie, right? And this is the World Mental Health Day Festival that they mentioned. That, of course, is the lineup, and it included biographies, a little short bio on everyone who's mentioned there. So let me see. We got Prince Harry, Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, Jonathan Haidt. I hope I'm saying his name right. Hat? Yeah, maybe it's Hat. And Katie Couric, Carson Daly, Deepak Chopra, MD, Dr. Becky Kennedy, Michael Costa, Rich Kleeman, and Katie Storino, Hunter McGrady, Samra, one name, Jessica Kroll, Kendo Toole, and Remy Batter. Or is it Bader? Batter. But yeah, so that's the lineup for the day. Can't wait. It's going to be very, very interesting. And of course, this, if you click on those images, this is what comes up. You get these very short bios on each individual there. So, gosh, isn't that small? Can't see that well. Oh, you know what? I made them bigger. So there's Meghan's, and there's Harry's. I'm going to do some shorts with the these bios, so look for that coming up later. Now, some fear malign forces are trying to drive a wedge between the king and his heir. There's the truth, or shall I say, here's the truth. Here's the truth. Well, you can look at those gigantic hands and you know who wrote this article. The gatekeeper herself, the one who seems to have command of the Royal Rota, formerly known as Becky the Blob, currently known as Big Head Becky, Rebecca English. Yeah, even if you didn't see those massive, I'll choke the life out of your hands, surely you would know. I mean, look at those hands. That's like a prison matron, right? Matron Mama Morton. Those are the kind of hands that seem to hold a whole bunch of keys for the women's prison. I could see her as a prison matron. She has all of the personality of a prison matron. Yeah, kind of subtle but devious, right? Sweet yet vicious. Yeah. Matron Mama Morton. Will the real Matron Mama Morton please stand up? You remember Matron Mama Morton? That was from the musical Chicago. Yeah. She had that show-stopping musical number. If you do a favor for Mama, she'll do one for you. Yeah, that one. Matron Mama Morton. Got a lot of favors I'm prepared to do. You do one for Mama, and she'll do one for you. Matron Mama Morton. Okay. So there was a bit of a pushback to this assertion. According to, I was about to say Matron Mama Morton, according to Big Head Becky, she believes that it may have been some kind of cyber bots or I don't know if she meant to try to insinuate it was the Sussex squad. It did not seem like it. So, but whatever the case may be, yes, there has been a lot of chatter, but I think she's looking, well, actually, she is deliberately looking outside of the Royal Rota for answers and possibly looking outside of the Sussex squad for answers when the truth is, I believe that there's a couple of Royal Rota reporters that are the ones responsible for this. They are the ones that have insinuated that Harry is trying to push his way into the firm, and that's just not true. As a matter of fact, Harry even said that that's not true. I believe, as I've said many times before, that they are using the method of briefing to push William out to work because William refuses to work. That's it. It doesn't get any more complicated than that. If William was working, if Kate was actually working, then there wouldn't be any question about what Harry's trying to do. But there's a huge, massive hole in the shrunk. What is it? The slim down royal family. There's a massive hole. People are not showing up, and when I say people, of course I mean Will and Kate. That's all. They just want them to work. They want them to be accountable, to carry their weight. And shame on them for pushing Charles, who is still receiving treatment for cancer, for pushing him out there to do it. I mean, of course, they don't really have to push him. I mean, that's his job. That's what he does. He works. But someone has to, because if you wait for Will and Kate, it's not going to happen. And they're very lucky that Not My King, they have not been showing up much lately. I don't know why. I wish they would. But they've been very lucky. They haven't been inundated with a bunch of protests recently. So, with that, they should count their blessings. But enough is enough. Just go to work. Just go to work. And you wouldn't have to hear such. Wow. I'm going to show you that later. Okay. Hold on one second. Let me get this queued up here. Okay. Lex says the calls are coming from inside the house. Yes, the calls are coming from inside the house. Where is that image I love to share? There you go. When a stranger calls. Oh my God, that was a creepy movie. If you guys have ever seen that movie from the 70s, then you know it is creepy AF. Scary. What was the name? Dr. Mandrakis or something like that. I think the doctor was like Greek or something like that. 3/4 of the year, but wait until Harry comes over for well child and then pretend they have been working all year long. It is pathetic. It really is. Okay, from sources at Weekend, apparently close to the Sussexes suggest Prince Harry might be able to help lighten the load. I mean, sources close to Prince Harry. That's a lie. And then, wait, she says here, this is Becky the Blob. She says, some even speculate that King Charles and Prince William are barely speaking based on snatched footage of the monarch at the Westminster Cathedral for the Duchess of Kent's funeral. They are barely speaking. And that did not come from the Sussex squad. That did not come from Harry and Meghan or anyone associated with them. Everybody knows that Charles and his heir are barely on speaking terms. Are you serious? Oh, she says Parrish thought they had already spoken inside the cathedral itself and reflected on what a beautiful service it had been, which is what happened. You don't know that. You do not know that. You're just saying that. And yes, William did look awkward as they waited outside. See how she covers for them? But I am told it was because he was acutely aware that despite the public nature of the occasion, this was a private moment of grief for the Kent family. Admittedly, the unwelcome presence of his uncle, Prince Andrew, goofing around with his ex wife, Sarah, Duchess of York, was unhelpful. Then they say, but friends tell me William was more concerned, having spotted the cameras, to ensure the dignity of the Duchess and her family was respected as the coffin was gently placed inside the state hearse. That's why he looks so serious. Yeah, right. He looks serious because he and his father are at loggerheads. They are stubborn and they're not speaking to each other. And yet they're both trying to force their will upon the institution, which, of course, Charles is going to win because he's king. Meanwhile, the king, as first head of the Church of England to attend the royal Catholic funeral in a modern history, was busy talking to the Archbishop of Westminster and other clerics, something William did not want to interrupt, and something William would probably never do either, where his conjecture about their relationship is coming from, no one in the know is sure. Rebecca English is the gift that keeps giving. I hope they're paying her for her work because she is doing extra. But there's more than a flicker of suspicion in royal circles that something more calculated could be at work. What, who may be behind the conjecture isn't clear, but it is worrying turn of events after I revealed earlier this year that Kensington Palace had discovered Russian bots. See there she goes. Russian bots were seeking to dismantle information around the Princess of Wales' prolonged absence from public life in a run up to her cancer announcement last year. The timing is even stranger given last week's state visit by the US president. Now, she's trying to tie this into Russian bots and the Orange Menace, which even the royals' greatest naysayers acknowledged was a triumph in diplomatic terms and displayed the family's soft power in action. It's important to acknowledge that in the interest of fairness, that William and his father have never had the easiest relationship. No surprise, given their complex family history, particularly the breakdown of Charles' marriage to William's mother, Diana, Princess of Wales. So all of that making excuses. And then she gets down to almost the last part where she says, in fairness, in the interest of fairness, yes, in the interest of fairness, but how about if you would have said that in the first place? Everybody knows that Charles and William are not on speaking terms, and they haven't been for a long time. If they were close, then William would have known that Harry was going to visit his father. If they were close, William would have known that Harry's people and Charles' communication people were going to meet at that club. But he didn't know because they didn't deem it important enough to tell him, seeing that he's would have leaked the information, right? Willie leaks. He would have leaked the information. You can't have it both ways. You really cannot have it both ways. You cannot be Prince Willie leaks and have in on everything that Clarence House is doing. So they did the right thing by not telling him. And it's always something happens, and then after the fact, there's the reaction from Kensington Palace. William is said to be furious that no one told him. William is said to have decided he would do things different when he becomes king. No one is, I mean, come on, give me a break. William has a whole bunch of scenarios of what might happen and what he would do. But in the present tense, when he needs to work, when his wife needs to work, everybody knows they're lazy. And when the Royal Rota keeps saying that people have insinuated that Will and Kate are lazy, even you're bringing it up. By trying to correct it, you're reminding people that they're lazy and that they've always been branded as lazy as they come. As you can see, I find all of this triggering, but I digress. So, as usual, Rebecca English is trying to give cover for Will and Kate, mostly William at this point. She says, however, they do speak regularly and they are in absolute lockstep about the future of the monarchy and the good it can do this country. That is a lie. How are they in lockstep when William constantly says that he's going to do stuff differently? How are you in lockstep? And yet every time your father does something, like, I don't know, being crowned king, immediately after the coronation, William started droning on about what he would do different. Does that sound like lockstep? No. Just like the whole thing about Charles meeting with Harry. Now, fair enough. I have not heard a direct quote from William, but sources close to William says that he was not informed, that he thought it was a bad idea, that he would never have regular relations with Prince Harry, that he thinks Harry cannot be trusted. So if everything he says is opposite or in some way is in contradiction, then how are they in lockstep? That is a lie. That is a lie, easily exposed, not even worthy of her position. That is a lie. Another source adds, like many father and son relationships, there are occasional personal and competitive tensions. Now, that's honest. Both are very driven individuals and have very similar interests, such as the environment, conservation, the military, and helping deprived communities. Okay, helping deprived communities, on both accounts, that's a lie. If they wanted to help deprived communities, they would lower their rent. They would make the cottages, the properties that they rent, more insulated and fuel efficient. They would upgrade in the sake of decency. They would get rid of the mold. So, yeah, I don't buy that one. I think both of them have come up short. The military and helping deprived communities, however, they are also going about supporting them in quite different ways. Yeah, um, Charles shows up, William rarely does. That is different. Does that sometimes bring them into competition with one another? Yes, but to be fair, it does. But ultimately, they have the same goals to make life better for the people of this country. Again, the environment is all well and good, but for someone struggling to put food on the table, to heat their homes this winter, people that are struggling to keep their electricity on, people who can't even afford to ride the train, I would like to just say that thank you, but no thank you. I believe people care more about the bread and butter issues than they are worried about the environment. Yes, we want the future to, clean and safe for the future generations. But in the here and now, what are you doing? Going to the food bank with empty hands? The one time Will and Kate made a donation at the food bank, it was because they were burgled. They had been robbed, right? So they made a donation. And trust me, I think it was about 650 pounds to replace whatever had been stolen or damaged. That's it. It wasn't like there was a truck that showed up full of meat and produce and such. That didn't happen. It was just enough to cover what was lost. For a couple that are bringing in about 23 million pounds a year just for breathing, that does not seem like a lot of money. That's not a lot of money. Are you serious? That's BS. So, the funny thing is that if they met a stranger at dinner, I'm sorry, at a dinner party, they would find they had so much in common. Oh, I'm sorry. If that, blah, the funny thing is that if they met as strangers, meaning father and son, at a dinner party, they would find that they had so much in common and were such natural bedfellows. Okay, this is getting weird. That they would be talking until 3 a.m. Are we still talking about? Ugh, I don't even want to think about it. And what brings them very close together is their understanding of the importance of those big state occasions. Uh-huh. Again, something that the poor people do not give a rat's behind about. Who cares about the state dinners? They are acutely aligned on how important it is for these sorts of events to run seamlessly. Another insider adds, why then do they not undertake more joint engagements together? Notice I said you rarely see them together. See, Becky the Blob has been reading the comment section, and that is where she's getting all this insight, is because people have been commenting about what's missing, what looks inconsistent. The whole point of having Prince of Wales with a separate household and funding from the monarch is that they have space and autonomy to try things in a different way. Now she just pulled that out of her behind. And wait, and it says a source argues. What source is that, Rebecca English? So argues, a source argues that the whole point of William being the Prince of Wales, funded by the king, is so that they can do things away from each other. How many times have you seen Charles and Queen Elizabeth together? Whether it was 30 years ago or 30 days before she died. There were many occasions where the two of them were together. And especially if William is learning the ropes to be the future king, who better to show him than the 70-year Prince of Wales? Who's better to show him? This is such BS. God, I cannot stand it. The whole sometimes they get things right, sometimes wrong, but even their failures make them a better king when they get there. Don't forget, His Majesty had more than his fair share of ups and downs as heir to the throne. Now, that's a monumental understatement. Another insider, oh, good God, here we go. Another insider emphasizes that the king now spends more time at Windsor than anyone ever expected him to. He never had a particular affinity for the castle or his estate, preferring his own Highgrove home. Now the Waleses have made the estate their forever home. It has enabled him to spend more time with it. I'm sorry. I'm done with this. It has enabled him to spend more time with his son. They are not spending time together. That is a lie. That is a lie. The palace doesn't make it a habit of revealing when the two most senior members of the family meet. After 2 years of cancer battle, it is true they to say father and son are closer, both physically and mentally, than they have been in a long time. A lie. That is a lie. If that was the case, and knowing that people, but you know what's different though? The reason why she's saying that now is because it wasn't the Sussex squad. It wasn't people close to Harry and Meghan. The fact that, let's say, Tom Sykes and Tina Brown have been stating the obvious, that is why they had to come out and make all these statements, none of which is true. None of it is true. The only thing that she said that is consistent with the reality of things is that they have not always gotten along. That's it. Everything else here is a fairy tale, a fantasy. And then, indeed, I can reveal that they will both be up in Scotland this week. So, what about it? Charles is going to be at Burke Hall, and William is going to be at his place. Charles is going to be in his kilt, and William refuses. And they're going to go to church on Sunday together. Why are they going to church on Sunday together? Because people have been saying they're not close. And if King privately feels his son could possibly take up some of the slack on those royal engagements, it's not something that comes up in conversation. Let me say that one more time. And if the king privately feels his son could possibly take up some of the slack on those royal engagements, it's not something that comes up in conversation. I bet you it comes up now. And you know why it comes up? I'm going to tell you why it comes up. Because of him. That's why it comes up. Because people saw Harry out there doing the most, doing what William should have been doing. They should be embarrassed that Will and Kate finally got their asses up and did some work because Harry was in town. Even a blind person knows that that's exactly what happened. But Becky the Blob, always the showman, big head Becky, is trying to gaslight people and pretend that we didn't see what we've been seeing all along. That is the reason why she wrote this article, because of the pressure. If prioritizing his family helped, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. If prioritizing his family helps make him, that is William, a better king, it's got to be a good investment, says one who knows them both. Isn't that the excuse that they have been using since Kate was pregnant with George? Oh, well, it's about the future of the royal family. We're raising the future king. We're raising the future Princess Royale. It's always the excuse. I wish everyone could say, you know what? Yeah, love, I couldn't come to work because I'm raising the future television repairman, as if they still have those, which is going to do so much to make this country a much better place. So that's why I didn't come to work. Oh, I couldn't drive the bus today because I'm raising the future bus dispatcher. I couldn't come to work. Somebody's got to do that. The Prince of Wales has had a universally crappy time as of late. Here we go with the sympathy. Here comes the sympathy card. He lost his beloved grandmother, his brother, and has faced a terrible headache with his father and his wife. And if this way of doing things make him feel much more happy and confident when the moment comes and he accedes and he accedes him to the throne, then that's something his father supports. They both have a vested interest in the institution of monarchy surviving and thriving, and no one will be allowed to drive a wedge between them over that. Do you guys hear violins playing? I hear violins. I hear a sad, sad violin playing. Very sad. So he lost his grandmother, his brother, and has faced terrible headache with his father and his wife. If this way of doing things makes him feel that much more happy and confident when the moment comes and he accedes him to the throne, then that's something his father supports. If his father supported any of that crap, Rebecca English, if his father supported any of that crap, then I wouldn't be reading this article because you wouldn't have had to write it. But I'm reading the article because his father is livid with the fact that his healthy, overgrown, pitiful looking, male pattern baldness son refuses to work. And here comes Harry working circles around him. This is the biggest nonsense. The biggest nonsense. It's perpetuating a fraud. It is pulling out the sympathy card on behalf of Willie Windsor. The general public, the general public, the average layperson had gotten wind of the fact that William just bought a new house and has only worked a handful of times in 2025. The average person found out that Kate went skiing, but couldn't even go to the Royal Ascot. But she can go on a $500 million yacht and the Isle of Mystique while she's trying to get things into balance. And the lead soldier in this war of information, Rebecca English, who they say is the head of the Royal Rota, she comes out fighting for their survival with her sources, people close to, someone who knows them both. BS. All of that is made up. All of it. But you know what? Warning, gaslighting detected. Okay? Gaslighting detected. That was a really good article. It was really good. And what makes it so great is that there's a hole in it big enough to drive a lorry through. There's a hole big enough to put a A380 straight through the center of it. A bunch of nonsense. Now, take a look at this. The relationship between king and the heir is so bad that the heir's mouth pieces are doing a lot of the damage control for some reason or another, blaming the very visible rift that's been on display for quite a while on imaginary powers. When is the last time those two were in a room alone together? Prince Harry has probably had more alone time with Charles. As usual, Willie refuses to take responsibility for how useless he has been during Charles' illness. But he had, that is, but hey, that is the son and the heir Charles deserves. Feel no empathy for either of them. I am Sage. Truly wonder what Tina Brown and Tom Sykes are thinking, considering they are the ones who first outed the fact that William and Charles are not on good terms. Imagine your own colleagues trying to discredit you. For the record, I fully believe that Tina and Tom have said, what Tina and Tom have said regarding the fractured relationship between Charles and William. I believe it since the coronation before anyone ever said anything. William was late to the coronation. William needed a card. He had to read from a card to give his pledge and oath to his father. William had main character syndrome throughout the entirety of the coronation. And no sooner than the coronation ended than William was saying what kind of king he's going to be. When they mentioned his father's cancer, what kind of king he's going to be. Every time something significant happens to Charles, you get William's communication people putting statements out. Could you be close to someone who is literally holding a spoon up to you, waiting for you to take your last breath? I don't think so. There's a sinister establishment plot to undermine Prince William and Kate. and bring back Harry and Meghan. I refuse to be part of it. And today I'm exposing what's going on. I'm telling you, that queen gives me gas. That queen gives me gas. Ever since Meghan accused unnamed senior members of the royal family of racism in her interview with Oprah Winfrey in 2021, and Prince Harry traduced his brother and sister in law in 2 years later in a tawdry memoir, Spare, the Prince and Princess of Wales have bitten their tongues. And they should. They shouldn't say anything, seeing that they're awful people. The only hint that the public reaction was when the reporter shouted a question to Prince William a few days later, referring to that Oprah sofa chat. We are very much not a racist family, the future king responded with a clear anger in his voice. William and Catherine have kept their counsel since, while also having to cope with the trauma. Oh, God, here we go. The trauma of the princess's major abdominal surgery following her cancer diagnosis and treatment. Actually, it was let me see. Okay, yeah, followed by, okay, that's right. Over recent months, they have also faced the relentless public relations campaign waged by the Duke and Duchess, I mean, by the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, aimed at restoring the California based couple to the affection of the British public. Worryingly, King Charles has been drawn into this, aided by some key figures of the establishment behind the scene. Again, I insist that the only reason why they are floating this idea, and it's not coming from Harry, it certainly is not coming from Meghan. The only reason why Clarence House is pushing that narrative, the only reason why concerned members of the Royal Rota are pushing that narrative, well, not even Royal Rota, but just the Royal Reporter, is because William just bought a house that is so far removed from the royal courtly life of a future king. William has less staff than his father. William works less than his father. William does not seem to care. William takes more vacations than his father. Now, when Charles was younger, there was the Queen, there was Philip, and there were other people. But now it's reduced to just four people, two of which rarely work. Five, if you want to throw Princess Anne in there. Six, if you want, well, seven, if you want to add uh, Sophie and Edward, even though nobody ever notices what they're doing and if they're doing. But as far as the main core group, the four people, only two of them actually work. The other two vacation and react to their lack of work. There's a big difference. Inside knowledge, like Portico and Eden, girl, bye. Yes, Richard Eden, with his inside information about the Sussexes buying a home in Portico, untrue. And of course, about Harry signing Archie up to Eton, also untrue. And furthermore, Harry said he had no plans to sign up Archie to Eton. Thank you, Legs. the Daily Mail exposed the plot, the secret summit in July. They didn't expose it, they just reported it because the uh, communication person that Charles hired is a former Daily Mail editor or whatever he was. So I'm pretty sure that it was all deliberate. Let me just, I know some of y'all know this already, but I'm just going to say it again. They leaked that meeting as a way to warn William. That's why they leaked it. It was a warning to William. What are they trying to warn him? That you are inconsequential, that you are not relevant, and you will not be relevant until Charles takes his last breath. They are just trying to push him into reality. They're just trying to get him to work, to get interested in his future role. If the vacations that he's taking in 2025 is any indication of what they can expect in the future, people within that institution, people with proximity to the institution, are gravely concerned that William is going to be a complete disaster. He doesn't do anything according to plan, according to plan, as a Prince of Wales. What do you think is going to happen when he's the king? This is a show for his benefit. They know Harry and Meghan's not trying to come back over there. And Becky the Blob is just reacting to Prince William's anger. Oh, yeah. By the way, again, thank you, Lex. That's all. They're reacting. The Royal Rota are worried about their bottom dollar. They are going to fade into irrelevancy. Yeah, there's that too, Legs. Thanks for reminding us. Why should they get paid? They don't know anything. They don't have any knowledge about the Sussexes. Redundant. They need to find another word for them. They don't work watching football, cutting ribbons, or walking around while holding flowers is not work. Yeah. Yeah. Take a chill pill. Yeah, I was supposed to make a slide for that and I forgot to do it. But I tell you what, since you brought it up, I will put that in the top of the chat. I'll do that right now. Um oh, and I did not put it on the community post either. Uh okay. I think oh, I know where the link is. Never mind, I got it. I got it. I was about to say, where is the link? 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 Okay, where is the link? I don't see it. Mm, okay, I'll grab that later. Ooh, okay. Thank you for that, Marielle. Oh, okay. I think I'm going to use these tomorrow. Thank you for that. I am saving all of these right now. Ha! Yes, I am saving all of these. Very cool. Thank you very much. Huh. All right. I got it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Lydia Washington. That's it right there. Um, I'm gonna pin that to the top of the chat. Okay, there it is at the top of the chat. Signal Award voting. That's it right there. It's the Signal Award for the best podcast. And we already know who had the best podcast. It's just we need to make it official with your votes. Harry and Meghan are globally relevant and superstars. They need to make the institution seem desirable to others so they can uplift the leftovers. They are trying to use Harry and Meghan's popularity to uplift brand Britain. That's why they are so bothered. Anytime you hear them say that the Sussexes are cashing in on their titles, it's because William and Kate should be the face of the monarchy. And in some respects, they really are the face of the monarchy. They're the younger, more glamorous face in comparison to Stonehenge and Charlie Windsor. But the thing is, they don't show up enough. And it is true, it is so true that the press need to make their money. The readership for the tabloids is on the decline. They're on a decline. They're not in the first place, the second place, or third place. They're way down there. They're not at the top, especially the Daily Mail. They're like what, number 15, 13, something like that. They're way down there. It's like all the Disney, and then I think what is Netflix number 5? Something like that. Anyway, I have the chart somewhere. But they're losing revenue. They're losing money. If they have stockholders, their stockholders are probably highly upset. If it wasn't for Harry and Meghan, they would be so much worse off. They would be so much worse off. They know what triggers people to click on those stories. But so often it is rinse and repeat. And some people are just not pulled into it, not often enough. You have a hardcore group of haters, and you have a hardcore group of people like us who absolutely adore Harry and Meghan. And so the haters have their tribe, and we have our own. And so there's a very small pool of people that are keeping this alive. Otherwise, there are people that are casually interested. But what they're selling is negativity. They're selling the idea of people being triggered with hostility about someone that they never met and don't know, but for the magazines and tabloids and such. But it's a moneymaker. It's a $1 billion industry. Harry and Meghan together, $1 billion, more or less, for these tabloids. Now, if that's not the urge to just lie and make up stuff, I don't know what is. It's a story. It's a soap opera. It's the classic tale of good versus evil. Will and Kate good, Harry and Meghan bad. The yin and yang of it all. And even with that, they're shrinking. They are fading. They just don't have the audience that they used to. I mean, some of them are just dying off, aren't they? So anyway, as for this article, I think I'm going to just leave that because this is just more of the same. Rebecca English and Maureen have gotten together and decided to push back. That's all. They have decided to push back. Oh wait, that's Rebecca. Let me see. The king needs to put his foot down and make it clear to his younger son that there will be no more appeasement unless he apologizes to William and Catherine. Only then could a genuine reconciliation be possible. Well, you know what? Better keep that foot up in the air because that ain't going to happen. That ain't about to happen. Zandy Sussex says, I've said this before and will say it again. If Princess Diana was alive today, William would be briefing the press against her and making her life miserable because causing conflict and being controlling is Willie's default setting. Palace source says Prince William's authority as heir undermined by Prince Harry's visit. If William feels edged out, Harry gains leverage. William's authority. William's authority. William is not king. By the way, if you don't recognize the little boy, that is Damien from the movie The Omen, a child possessed with powers of destruction, the evil eye, everything he touched. Well, anyway, that was from the movie The Omen. And comparing William to The Omen, I could see that. Now, appeasement failed as Trump calls out UK days after dining with royals. Well, Donald Trump did say some nasty things about Sadiq Khan. He also said some nasty things about the idea of the UK being overtaken by immigrants and so on and so forth, which is quite a way to treat a country that just hosted you with this lavish state dinner, and you thank them by lashing out. Not only, let me see, United Kingdom bent over backwards to flatter Donald Trump during his second state visit. King Charles, Queen Camilla, Prince William, and Kate Middleton paraded him through Windsor Castle and Chequers. Keir Starmer Labour government, desperate to present warm relations, staged Britain's most extravagant military welcome in decades. Officials and royals alike dressed up their visit as an attempt at diplomacy. And what happens? Donald Trump goes to the United Nations and calls them out. Pretty much he called out all of Europe. So the only people who are really surprised at Donald Trump trashing the UK after the sycophantic treatment he was given are the ones that have the same principles as him. He had no intentions of giving the UK any favorable treatment on taxes or anything beneficial. And even if he had offered, he would have reneged on it the minute he left the UK. I truly believe the only reason he came was so he could boast he's the only president that had been allowed to have 2 state visits. Yeah. But the public was never fooled. And then, of course, all that terrible stuff he said about Sadiq Khan. I mean, why are you sitting up here attacking the mayor of London, a very successful mayor who's been elected several times? What, 3 times now, right? Oh, well. Meghan Sussex offered radio show after revealing love for Magic FM. Well, you guys, Meghan Magic radio show offered after she revealed one of the things she missed the most about the UK is the radio station Magic FM. Magic FM bosses Paul Sylvester tells a radio center event something. The offer is on the table. If the Duchess wants to host a show, she's very welcome. Isn't that sweet? Magic FM is owned by Bauer Media, the second biggest radio group in the UK, which also owns Hit Radio and Greatest Hits. We love that Meghan is a big fan of the station, said Sylvester in a statement to The Guardian. We've been in with her team and offered her a show if she ever wanted one. Okay. Well, that's sweet, but I think if that happens, you know that is really going to get under somebody's skin. And for that reason, I love it. I love it. I love that for them. Okay. Let me see. I wonder if I want to do this tomorrow. We're so far in, though. Maybe it'd be better to do this tomorrow, I think. Yeah, you know what? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm going to do the rest of this tomorrow. Yeah, I should. Good night. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for celebrating 63,000 subscribers. I'm going to do this tomorrow. Hopefully, I can come on early. So don't be surprised. I know I will be, but don't be surprised if I come on early tomorrow. Good night, Lydia. Good night, everyone. Love you guys. Don't forget to click that link at the top of the chat. Do it now because I'm going to go for real. Okay? Go ahead. Click that link and go ahead and vote. Do it in 1, 2, 3. Okay? 1, 2, 3.